Hey guys, so excited to hang out, talk to you tonight on Monday Night Live about a topic that's really important to me. And that is what it would look like if you really want this Plexus business. What it will look like for somebody who says, you know what, no matter what, I'm going to go the distance, no matter what, I'm willing to do and learn and become whatever it takes to be super successful in Plexus. Here's the thing. This call is probably not for someone who is still deciding whether or not they want to do this. This call is for somebody who has said, I want to do this and I'm willing to become uncomfortable. I'm willing to become shaken. I'm willing to become knocked down to stand back up. I'm willing to become all of those things if it means that I'm going to get to the final destination of becoming a diamond or an emerald or whatever it is that your goal is. That's who this call is for. So be prepared to hear some hard truths. I told my team this earlier. If you come looking for things that you can improve and change and alter in your business, you'll leave with a list of those. But if you come looking for ways to justify what you've already been doing, be prepared to get the results you've already been getting. The choice is yours. So let's share my screen. Okay, what it looks like to really want it with Plexus, right? Okay. Now, before I go to the next screen, I want you to listen and understand that there's a reason that you should care what I think. Okay, I say that with utmost humility, but I'm about to show you something that is very personal. It's very private. It is something that until tonight, I've never showed probably more than 2 people, maybe 3 that I can think of. So I'm being very vulnerable here, but I wanted to show it to you to kind of build credibility. Some of you know me well. Some of you don't know me from Adam. And I want you to know that what I'm telling you, you want to pay attention to. Okay, so here's the thing. I was you for years on Monday night calls, looking at the heavy hitters, looking at the people who were making a lot of money, thinking, I want to make a lot of money. I want to be the person who is making what that income disclosure chart says. I want to be that person. I always wanted to be, I always listened the closest to the heavy hitters. I always tuned in the most for the girls who had been there already. I have mad respect for the girls who were still getting there, but when a diamond spoke up, I was all ears, right? I just wanted what they had, okay? So the reason that I paid attention is because I was willing to do whatever it said whatever they said I needed to do. To get where they were, I was willing to do whatever they said was necessary. So I paid attention, okay? So I'm about to show you something. And I'm a little nervous, but I just want you to know it comes from a place of total humility. I do not for a single second think that it is simply built on my back alone. I also won't downplay the fact that I worked my tail off to get what you're about to see. I worked hard every single day for many years, and I would do it all over again. As a matter of fact, I am doing it. For those of you that don't know, I'm in the process of building again. I'm a senior Ruby on my re-entry, and I will not stop until I'm a diamond over there and until every leader that has entrusted me to get them to diamond till they also arrive. So just know I'm still doing this with you. But guys, this is what you're working toward. Maybe if I can figure out how to go to the next one. Okay. Just take that in for a minute, guys. I never in a million years envisioned having wealth. Never in a million years envisioned making this kind of money. Oh, go back. Let me mute everybody. I just didn't anticipate having money that looked like this. But I did envision a once in a lifetime lifestyle for my kids. I did want to be able to give them a life that was just beyond my dreams, right? So what I want you to think about right here when you're looking at this is, what if this was the deposit in your account? And when we were making this, we just kind of pulled randomly. I wanted you guys to see that it was sustainable long-term. We're at a year now where these have been the averages of my paychecks. None of them have dropped below what you see in June of 2020. And so I just wanted you to see sustainable. We're not talking about a one-time thing. That's why I picked these numbers. But what I want you to envision here for a second is, what if this was going to be the deposit in your account this month? How would you spend it? How would you guys, please don't. I'll just fix that. Gracious. Okay. I just want you to think, what if this deposit was coming into your account? How would you spend it? How would you save it? How would you give it? How would it allow you to serve? People say all the time, it must be nice. Guys, it's not nice. It wasn't built off of luck. It wasn't great that I got in at a certain time. It wasn't, I wish I had joined when she did. Guys, it's sheer hard work. It's sheer hard work, and it's available for every single person. And guys, what I'm about to tell you that it will take to build it, I just want you to know it's worth it. Not everything is made of money, right? Not, money isn't happiness. Money isn't going to fix all your problems. I don't think money is the most important. It's right up there with oxygen. And just about every good thing that you wish that you could do either requires money or time. And guys, time is money, and money is time. So just know it is worth it. All right, let's jump into it. Okay, so first of all, I want you to know prioritizing and intentionality. Working your business does not mean 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, overtaking your life. Life as you know it is over. You must live, eat, breathe, sleep, dream, Plexus. Okay, that is not at all what I think that it means. If you watched my 5 years building to diamond, you saw a life that I loved. You saw us still taking trips. You saw me still at the soccer field. You saw me still being a cheer mom and a dance mom. You saw me have babies. You saw me plan weddings. You saw me have to plan funerals. You saw me doing all of life in the midst of building my business. And people would say all the time to me, tell me how you do that. I don't know how you do all what you do. You know how I do it? Intentionality. Intentionality. So let's go ahead and start the toe stepping. Guys, I time block. Even when life is crazy. Even when, and I'll just give you a for instance, even when my kids have to be at 2 different vacation Bible schools, one has swim lessons, one has work, one has to go to the college bookstore, one has professional soccer training today. We have church group, I have a workout. I mean, there's a lot of things that I could have said, I'll just go with the flow tomorrow. It's too busy. I don't need to time block. There's too much on my plate. There's no way I can time block that. First of all, that's not true. The time is being spent, whether you take the time to write it in the little bubble or not. It's going somewhere, right? So let me just show you guys. And I've given you guys templates before. I've showed you all the things, but let's just say this is the time block, right? I don't know if y'all can see me because I can't see that. But every little rectangle has a space for me to fill in. So even if it's run kids around, if that whole hour is going to be spent running kids around, I'm at least telling my time that I know where it's going. And then I'm going, okay, while I'm running kids around, what can I do to be intentional today? Maybe that's when I plan a call. Maybe that's when I plan to listen to an audiobook. Maybe that I'm still being extremely intentional in spite of the busyness. If you're saying my life is too busy to time block, that's not true. It's not true. What you're saying is it's not important enough to me to do it. What you're saying is it's way more comfortable to live reactively than it is to take the time to live proactively. And if that's what you prefer, then keep choosing that. But if you want a different outcome, choose something different. Okay? I showed y'all my time block and then I turned away from my notes. All right. It means making your business a priority and being super intentional. And I'm going to talk more about this later, but basically it means if you wouldn't take time off of your real job for blank, then you don't take time off from Plexus for blank. If it's not important enough that your husband wouldn't take time off from his job to blank, then it shouldn't be important enough that you put Plexus aside to blank. Okay, for instance, I have some for instances in a few minutes, but let's just say, my child is super fussy tonight, which is actually true. I have one out there right now, super fussy tonight, and it was just too much for me to get on Monday night call. Okay, if your child were super fussy, would you have gotten a substitute and skipped teaching because you couldn't deal with the fussy child and the obligation? No. Now, we're not talking a puking child or a child with a broken bone. So some of you are over there already trying to get defensive and uppity. Calm down. We're going to get into the difference between reasons and excuses in just a few minutes. There is a difference, very, very, very big difference in the two. But I'm just talking about prioritizing your business. Calls, events, opportunities for growth. Guys, they are non-negotiable. You don't get a pat on the back for showing up. It's not an attaboy. It's expected. It is expected that you show up. No one applauds the president when he walks into the Oval Office every day. We expect him to show up. He has a responsibility as a leader, right? You do too. If you're asking people to follow you, whether you have a soul on your team or not, if you're asking people to follow you, you have a responsibility to show up. You don't get to expect other people to do more than you're willing to do. You're not willing to go to an event, don't expect your people to go to an event. You're not willing to host a sip and see, don't expect your team to ever host a sip and see. You're not willing to lead a call, don't expect people on your team to. You're not willing to comment on book study, don't expect they will either. You don't get to expect that. It would be like expecting your teenager to implement behavior you've never modeled. It would be like expecting your teenager to implement positive behavior you've never modeled. Let me clarify. It'd be like you never teaching your child to hold the door open for a stranger. You think it's ever going to occur to them to do that? No. Your team is the same way. It's not going to occur to them to do things that they don't see you regularly doing. You don't have your camera on tonight? Guess what? Your team won't either. Leaders show up. It is a non-negotiable if you want to be successful in this business. Okay, more on this later. Also, I think it's the next slide. Let's see. If not, I'll say it in a minute. Okay, perspective. Here's some perspective for you. Short-term sacrifice, long-term gain, living your best life. Okay, we understand that. But guys, nothing can be fun all the time. Nothing. I taught about this at Ruby Retreat, the Valley of Despair, right? We have this uninformed optimism before we start something that it's just going to be the greatest thing ever. You see people do it with their diet, with their fitness plan, with their Dave Ramsey budget, like, oh, this is going to be great. And then they get into that Valley of Despair and they have informed pessimism, meaning, well, crap, this is hard. Yeah, welcome to life. Newsflash, guys, life is a series of problems. I had to tell my teenager that today. There was an issue with her college textbook and it took us several days, several hours, and $100 to resolve. And she's like, Mom, this is just so sucky. And I'm like, honey, this is life. It doesn't have to be sucky. It could just be life. And I said, and newsflash, it doesn't get better. Life is a series of problems. What gets better is your ability to choose how you respond to it. Because here's the thing, I spent my same amount of days helping you solve this problem, spent my same amount of hours, spent my same amount of money, and I don't feel sucky because it's how I'm choosing to look at this problem. Life is a series of problems. Your business won't always feel fun. Should it feel fun? Sure. And if it feels routinely not, check your attitude. I have seen people have the best time doing the most mundane tasks in real life. And it's because of their perspective. It's because of their attitude that they have fun. Guys, you know what's fun? Let me go back a few slides. That's fun. The life that provides, that's fun. But does it always feel unicorns and rainbows? No. Perspective, your perspective is more important than anything else because it's going to be how you choose to face a problem. It's going to be how you choose whether you're going to persevere or whether you're going to crumble. Because I promise you, the same problems that you're choosing to see as just insurmountable mountains, other people are looking at as an opportunity to go rock climbing. So you've got to check yourself. You've got to make sure that you're teaching yourself right thoughts, that you're correcting that perspective. It's not going to come naturally. No, it's not fun when somebody turns off their subscription. It's not fun when a dream teamer decides she doesn't want to do this. That's not fun, right? But does it have to take your whole day? Can you spend 5 minutes, feel the feelings, come up with a game plan, and move on? Do you have to trickle that negative energy out to your team, to your family? Do you have to take it on your husband? No. All of that is choice. So guys, what you have to sacrifice to build this. I'll go further to say what you have to sacrifice to build anything worth building in life requires short-term sacrifice. There are some things that you'll have to sacrifice to be successful. There are some things that I would never sacrifice to be successful. So I want you to know you will never have to sacrifice what is most important. I never felt like my leaders were asking me to. I never felt like they expected me to. Here's what I did know that they expected me to sacrifice. Binge watching Netflix. Okay, can I get an amen? How many of you have stopped watching Netflix? So many of my leaders are like, I don't even know what happened on Grey's Anatomy. I'm like, it's okay, you're not missing anything. Just kidding. I have sacrificed, for a long time, I sacrificed sleep. I was a working full-time teacher and in grad school. And so I sacrificed sleep. That was my choice, right? I would sacrifice going and sitting at the ball field for ball practice because ball games were a non-negotiable. I never sacrificed that, but there was no need for me to sit at ball practice. And if I was going to sit at ball practice, I could be intentional while I was there, right? I've sacrificed cooking supper for my family every single night. I delegated that. My teenager now has that responsibility and he loves it. He thinks it's an honor. But there are things I was never willing to sacrifice. And so have your list of non-negotiables that you get on board with your husband and your kids and figure that out. And then let everything else be negotiable. Be willing to put it to the side for a little while, right? I didn't sacrifice fitness. I didn't sacrifice family. Okay, so there were things that I did not let go. Hold on to those. Your team needs to know that they can still keep the most important things, but Plexus is going to have to be one of those. If you want your paycheck to look like my paycheck, Plexus is going to have to be a top priority. Okay. Comfort is for cowards. I really had struggled with whether or not I was going to put this on here because I didn't want to offend people. But this is actually how I feel. Comfort is for cowards. Guys, comfort should not be what you're after. Comfort should not be what you're after. And I'll go so much further as to say, listen, I hope I'm never comfortable. I hope I'm never comfortable. I hope I'm always putting myself in situations where there's a potential for me to fail. I hope there's always a time where I'm putting myself in a situation where people could judge me. I hope there's always a time where I'm pushing myself a little bit harder, where I might not measure up and I might fall flat on my face. And you know what? Because that's going to keep me humble. Comfort is for cowards. This business takes getting uncomfortable. If you're unwilling, just own that. Don't make it about anything else. Make it simply about your unwillingness to become uncomfortable and be okay with that. And accept that that is the reason that your business will not move forward. If you continue to do what you've always done, you'll continue to get what you've always gotten. And even as leaders at the top of this company, Brittany and I are always looking for ways that we need to do more, become more, be more, say more, lead more, change more. We are always looking for ways because listen, we're not done. This team's not done. Where we're headed is not done. And we're okay with being uncomfortable. Guys, and listen, no one likes it. No one jumps at the chance to become uncomfortable. Change scares everyone. So if you're afraid, you're in good company. That's okay. If you're worried that you might mess up, you will. That's fine. We all do. Some of you have watched me really mess up. Here I am. You have to know that what is waiting on the other side is worth it. Guys, listen, you can build confidence in your competence by doing uncomfortable things often and not dying from it. You can build confidence in your competence by doing uncomfortable things often and not dying from it. The more things that you do, whether you do them well or whether you fail, the more times you do them and realize I didn't die, the more likely you will be to do something again. So just force yourself to do it. Force it over and over and over. Force yourself to do it. You will be glad that you did. If nothing changes, nothing changes. So again, that's what you want. Be willing to take ownership of that and say, I'd rather just stay where I'm at. Okay, but a good question for reflection. If in 5 years, your life looked exactly like it did right now, would you be satisfied? Deeper question. If your life looked in 5 years exactly like it looked right now, would you be obedient to the calling that you think God has placed on your life? Would you be obedient if you stayed exactly where you are right now? Okay. All right, so what should you be doing? Leaders are initiators. Everybody write that down. Leaders are initiators. Leaders ask for help. You know what leaders don't do? They don't sit over there and whine because people around them haven't noticed that they have a need that's not fulfilled. They don't sit over there and think, poor pitiful me. If Christina really loved me, she would know that I wanted a welcome call and she didn't even offer. No, leaders are initiators. They ask for help. Leaders are also problem solvers. If something or someone is unavailable, find another way. Told my teenager that today. She wanted me to go to the bookstore. She had to go to the bookstore to buy the access code. Okay. Can you go with me, Mom? I mean, I could, but I'm not going to. You're a leader. You're going to go initiate this. You're on your own. Here's where you need to go. Got this, on your way. Listen, she could have pouted. And listen, she did. She did. But leaders are problem solvers. And I meant she needed a textbook. She was going to figure it out. She couldn't find the building, couldn't find the person. You know what happened? She came home with the book. It all worked out. She problem solved. Leaders are initiators. They ask for help and they problem solve. Leaders are humble. Guys, if you're over there thinking, I don't need to get on that Monday night call, it's on recruiting and I'm the best recruiter on the team. Okay, number one, not humility. Number two, there's always something that you can learn from someone else. Always. And number three, even if you can't learn a ding dong thing, your team needs to see you showing up every time, all the time. Because leaders show up. Leaders show up first. They stay the most, they stay the longest. Leaders are just here. They don't go anywhere. Leaders are solid. Their attendance isn't based off of emotion. We're going to talk about that in a minute. Leaders show up, cameras on, smile on. I guarantee you, because I've said it twice tonight, more cameras are on tonight than any other night. I guarantee it. Your camera should be on, period. Leaders set the example for their team. We talked about that earlier. Don't expect your team to do something you're not willing to do. Listen, if I walked into the gym and my personal trainer told me to go do 843 pull-ups, I expect that she can do 844. Leaders set the example. Okay, and then this one's really going to hurt somebody else's feelings, but leaders are rarely off until the business is built. If I was building a Chick-fil-A, I don't know how long it takes to build a Chick-fil-A, but in this market with all the material issues and stuff, I imagine it takes a little while. The leader who's building the Chick-fil-A probably isn't going to schedule a bunch of major things that they need to be off the grid from multiple times during the building process. Now, once the building's up and the staff is trained and, things are flowing, leaders go on trips and leaders do this and leaders do that. And that's okay because now you've created systems. But if you don't have systems in place that can run without your presence, how is your business going to grow if you're not there? Guys, leaders who are building, even when they're off, they're on. You guys have seen me do calls from a vacation. You've seen me do calls from honeymoon trips. You've seen me I just have been so intentional about showing up. I've done calls the night before I got married. I've done calls. I got to join, for crying out loud, in the recovery room after my 4th C-section. And I think Brittany thought I was crazy. Leaders just show up, is my point. If I go to the beach, y'all have seen me make many videos on the ocean, right? Looking at the Atlantic Ocean. We're on vacation, but I got something pressing to say. Okay. And it's because it's a choice. I choose this. and it has been worth it. It was worth it when I made $1,000 a month. It was worth it when I made $3,000 a month. It was worth it when I made 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. It's worth it. But guys, you got to put in the time if you want to get there. Okay. Personal accountability is key. Don't let your reasons become excuses. Okay, so let's talk about the difference in a reason and the difference in an excuse. A reason is rare. An excuse is often and sometimes becomes a pattern. So a reason. Christina, I'm so sorry I missed book club tonight. Like 7:35, my kid puked all down the front of my chest. And then I feel like that's a reason. Okay, that's major. Really, there's nothing you can do about the fact that you got puked on right at book club time. Reason. Hey, Christina, I was on the way to that sip and see and I got a flat tire. Like, I'm so sorry. That's a reason. Reasons can't be planned in advance, my friends. Okay, very rarely. A reason. Christina, I'm so sorry. I'm going to use Misty as an example. Christina, I cannot listen. Convention, it can't happen this year because I took a new job. I'm not allowed to request time off during that time, whatever. Okay, that's a reason. Now, for those of you that can request time off, you should be at convention. Just side note. But there will always be extenuating circumstances. Those are reasons, right? There's been a death in the family and the funeral is tonight. Can't be on Monday night call. Okay, reason. Some excuses. I got invited to dinner. Sorry, me and my husband, we got invited to dinner. We went. I'm so sorry I missed the call. Okay, you know what happens? I get invited to dinner. And you know what I say? Hey, listen, Mondays and Thursdays, those aren't great nights for us. We have some commitments, so that's not going to make me able to make that. But I could do dinner on Tuesday or Friday or Wednesday or Saturday. Any of those days would work. Can't do, I have an obligation. Sorry. Solo parenting. Sorry, I couldn't get on. My husband's deployed or my husband's out of town or my husband's sick. I just had all these kids. I'm so sorry I couldn't make it on. Guys, that's my life sometimes. My husband travels he's going to be out of town tomorrow night and I'm leading a triplex product event tomorrow night with kids that I have to pick up from Vacation Bible School at 8:30. Plan, prioritize, make it happen. Okay. Make it happen. Oh, you know what? That call's past my bedtime. Sorry. Can't get on. Like it was past my bedtime. Or I got up really early and I just was so tired. I'll catch the recording. Guys, if you're saying I'll catch the recording, that's not leadership. That is 100% not leadership. If your plan for personal growth is to catch the recording, you are not holding up your end of the deal of being a leader. That's not okay. Matter of fact, I don't coach people who don't make these calls a priority. I feel like Monday night call and book club are kind of like team-wide football practice, okay? Everybody's here. We're trying to give everybody what they need. We spend a lot of time preparing. And if someone doesn't care enough to come to football practice, then they don't get to come to me, the coach, and ask for one-on-one drill time to perfect what they think's important. No, if you don't bother to come to practice, you don't get one-on-one time. That's not how it works. But let somebody show up all the time and then they need some help. Oh, I got you. Okay. Here's one. I don't know if we're all girls on this call, but you know what? I just got my cycle today and I'm just going to put a heating pad on. I'm going to lay up in the bed. Listen, me too, living it today. Here I am. I'm telling you, if you would not call off of your regular 9-to-5 job, or you wouldn't ask your husband to do the same, then you should not be putting that above your Plexus business if you want to make the kind of money I make. Now, again, the disclaimer at the beginning of the call was, if that's not you, this call is not for you. But if that is you, then I'm telling you that's what it will take. Guys, would you tell your husband come home from work early because we got invited to lunch? No, you wouldn't. So stop justifying this in your brain as an okay way to run your business. If your business is not a top priority to you, how do you expect it to be a top priority to your family or your husband? If you don't treat it like a top priority, it's no wonder he doesn't. Okay. All right. Reasons are rare and major and would cause you to call off of the job. I said that a million times. Here are some examples of reasons. Death. obviously, right? I've been through a couple of family members since I was building. Birth, major medical, something that you're going through right now. House fire, that would be terrible. I put family vacation on here, and I want you guys to hear me. If you're the family vacation who takes one trip a year and it's going to interfere with 1 or 2 calls, for Pete's sake, take them off. Take them off. Your family is number one. But if you're a family like me who tries to just vacation as often as humanly possible, you're going to see me on calls no matter where I'm at, because that's the choice that I make. So if your vacations are rare and they're really intentional family vacations, take the call off. But if you're all the time going somewhere, plan accordingly. Plan accordingly. Moving day. Maybe you're moving today. Now, listen, I don't think you get to take the month of calls off because it's moving month. I've bought and sold and moved twice while I was building. And you know what I was doing on Monday and Thursday night? This. So moving day. Now listen, if you're moving, take moving. If you have to miss calls on moving week, I get you. Because listen, packing up a house is work. A sick kid, an actual sick kid who needs you right that minute, not a whiny kid or a kid who was sick earlier in the day who is now quietly pacified and getting rest. I understand you're tired. Get on the call anyway. Show up for your team. Okay. Baseball banquets, those are important. Go to those. Graduations, go to those. Vacation Bible school performances, be at them. Those things, those are reasons. They're not regular. Okay, does everybody understand? Okay, best place to look when evaluating whether or not you're where you want to be in your business is the mirror. Doesn't involve your upline, your downline, your sidelines, or anywhere else. The buck starts and stops with you. If you're not happy with where you are, change it. You are not a tree. Move. Move. We all have access to the same products, the same, in this call, the same upline, the same resources, the same comp plan, the same everything. If you don't like where you are, move. Okay, quote, we're going to end on this. Most of the excuses I made, not enough time, not enough money, not enough knowledge, not the right connections, were just ways to avoid the real bottleneck, not enough courage. There was always a small step I could have taken if I had simply had the guts to take it. Most of the excuses I made, not enough time, not enough money, not enough knowledge, not the right connections, were just ways to avoid the real bottleneck, not enough courage. There was always a small step I could have taken if I had had the guts to take it. So right here, we could say most of the excuses I made, not the right upline, right? Not the right network, not the right education, not the right skill set, not the right network, whatever. Could make all those. There's somebody somewhere. I'm going to stop my screen share for this. Hold on. There is somebody somewhere with whatever but you have in your brain. Well, I could be a diamond, but there's a diamond who had the same but, who went on to be successful anyways, because she decided to see it as an obstacle to be overcome, not a hurdle to hold her back. The choice really is yours. You get to decide what your but is going to be and whether or not you like your but. You get to overcome it or you get to succumb to it. Either way, you're choosing. And that's the point of the call tonight. I want you to understand you're choosing. It's not being chosen for you. It's not happenstance. It's not, well, it didn't work. You're making a choice one way or the other. And I hope that you will choose wisely, because you guys, it is so worth it, but it starts with you. It doesn't do me any good to come on here and give you all the strategy in the world for you to go give your team if you're not stepping into your responsibility as a leader. You can't expect people to follow a leader who is not credible. And you want to know what it takes to be a credible leader? Every single thing I just said in this call. It's why our team follows the leaders we follow. And it's why we don't follow the leaders we don't follow. So if you want to be a leader who is credible, this is what it takes. And when you get this down, then we can go into the skill set of how to duplicate. What do I need to do if I want to rank up? Well, I mean, that's where we get into that. But first, you have to decide, I will be this person. And that's what I have. So let me stop this recording.